I'm Saturday hauling for you guys today, and I'm going to start off with some new blushes from Essence that I saw at Ulta, and they're the Pure Nude Baked Blushes. And I grabbed two shades. There's 0.24 ounces of product, or 7 grams in each one, which is a pretty good amount of product that you're getting. And both of these are actually made in Italy, so these are like a standard baked powder blush, and I've actually got on the shade Pretty Peach number 5 as a blush today. So let me go ahead and swatch that one first. This is what the packaging looks like on them. They both have like a satin shimmer finish to them. The Pretty Peach shade that I have on goes on peach with a gold shimmer in it. Let me go ahead and get a good swatch here. So again, this one is Pretty Peach. And this is the one that I have got on my cheeks today. Now the two shades that I picked up, they're not the most pigmented blushes, and these are both light shades. I think they're the two lightest ones that I've seen at the store. So I did have to build it up to get that color, but it does provide a really pretty like sheen on the cheeks. But I do wish for a little bit more punch from both of them. The Pretty Peach one is a little bit deeper than the number 1 Shimmery Rose. So this one is a more rosy shimmer tone right here. And it's just, they're both pretty light, and I think that they're so light on the skin because they don't have a ton of, you know, pigmentation to them. So I think if you're really fair, these two shades might work, but I'm kind of wishing that I would have grabbed some that were a little bit deeper so I got a little bit more punch on my cheeks. Granted, it still looks really pretty on, but I had to really pack it on there. And again, that kind of gold sheen that you're seeing is from this Pretty Peach shade. So next time I'm in the store, I'm going to see the other shades because I might grab one shade that's a little bit deeper. But it's a solid, you know, baked blush formula. They're a little bit dry, but not super dry. They pick up pretty easy on the brush as well. So those are the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blushes. Again, we've got Shimmery Rose and Pretty Peach. And then we got Pretty Peach and Shimmering Rose right there. And then NYX came out with the Vivid Matte Liquid Eyeliner, and this is the shade Black. So it has a brush tip applicator, which is my favorite, and it's supposed to be a really, like, you know, matte eyeliner. I typically use the Essence Super Precise eyeliner. It's a long-lasting waterproof liner. This has been a favorite of mine for years. This isn't flat matte. It's got like a satin type of finish to it, but I really love this liner. I've been through several of them, so I'll kind of compare these two formulas. I think this one was $2.99 and the NYX one was like $7.99 if memory serves me correctly, but there's 0.06 fluid ounces in the Vivid Matte liner, and then the Essence Super Precise liner has got 0.13 mils. So you're getting another milliliter of product in the Essence one for less money. Now this is more matte, like I said, than the Essence liner, and it does have a brush tip applicator, but it's a little thick, like, and you have to kind of go over it after it dries to get the lines more crisp, because it's like that matte formulation, it constricts when it dries. So it kind of, especially with like my hooded, like liney kind of lids, when it constricts, then you see little spots where you kind of have to touch up a little bit with them. I do really like the matte finish of the liner, but again, the formulation isn't my favorite. So I'm going to let that guy dry, but in the meantime, let me swatch the Essence one. And I had tried, this is the Essence liner, Super Precise. I had tried the NYX liners in the like Vivid ones, and they had the brush as well. And that formula was so hard to work with, even though it was like my favorite application with the brush tip. It was so thick, like it was really hard to get a nice crisp line with it. But let me see if these guys are dry here. Pretty much dry there. The NYX one is on top, and then the Essence is on the bottom. And I mean, the dry down, it's just the slightest, tiniest bit of a satin finish with the Essence. And more product, easier to work with, cheaper. So the NYX one it's not my favorite. I still prefer the Essence over that one. And then a ton of brands are releasing new concealers, and so I'm kind of on this concealer kick. I think I've got like 4 to share with you guys today, and I'm going to kind of compare these first to each other. I got a new one from Physicians Formula. It's the Butter Glow Concealer. I got the lightest shade that they had available in Fair to Light, and there's 0.19 fluid ounces of product in this one, and it is made in Mexico. So this is the box packaging right here. And then the concealer is really similar to the packaging that's on the Clinique. I think it's the Even Better concealer. It's got a little foam like blend out applicator. I never like use stuff like that. I always kind of stick to my face sponge, but it is there if you want like a on the go little sponge. And then this here being the lightest shade, it's got a lot of yellow to it. I wore it yesterday and it blended out really nice. And I would say it's a light buildable to medium coverage, which is something that I like, and it felt really lovely underneath the eyes. And it had, again, after I kind of built it up, it had like a medium coverage to it. The only thing I would change is it had a little bit more pink to it, or even neutral, because this on me just pulls super, super yellow. But I like the formula. And this shade did add a little bit of brightness as well, but I could definitely see the yellow tone in comparison to like pink concealers that I like to use. Oh, let me show you guys the applicator. It's a little kind of paddle style there. And then I'll blend it out a little bit here. So you can really see kind of how yellow it is, but I really like the formula on that one for a light kind of hydrating concealer. It's nice. And then I also got the Essence Keep Me Covered Concealer with Aloe Vera, 0.11 fluid ounces in this Sky. And this one is made in Poland, and I got the shade 20 Fair. And so this here is I would say it's a light to medium coverage. I did build it up a little bit, but I didn't kind of get to that same amount of coverage that I did with the Physicians Formula. It's a really light concealer, and it also feels really nice underneath the eyes, but I don't think that you'll be able to build it up to a medium full type of coverage by any means. But again, I liked the formulation of this one. Also pulls quite yellow on my skin tone. So it was funny because I swatched these next to each other and I was like, wow, those are like super similar in tone. Did I show you guys the applicator on this one? Yeah, it's almost, wow. They kind of have the same applicators, the Physicians Formula and the Essence. So let's kind of swatch this one out a little bit. The Essence is a little bit lighter, maybe not quite as yellow as the Physicians Formula, but yeah, both really nice, comfortable formulas for underneath the eyes. The Physicians Formula can be built up to a medium, and I would say the Essence is a light to slight medium coverage. And then I also got the Tarte Power Flex Antioxidant Concealer. It's from their like C range. I seen this in Sephora and they were 50% off, so I bought it. But I'm thinking they might be discontinuing it. But when this launched, it was a concealer that I had always wanted to try. So I was just like, well, just try it. You might really like it and you get it for half price, right? So I got the Porcelain Sand 8S shade, 0.33 fluid ounces of product in here, so quite a bit. And then this concealer is made in Korea. So again, this is the concealer. Maybe Sephora is just getting rid of the range and Tarte might still have it on their website. I'm not sure. But this I really liked. I thought it was a medium type of coverage and it looked really pretty as well. This one has got more pink in it compared to the last two, and it's got one of those large doe foot applicators to it. So I'll pop this one right here. And again, the shade that I got is Porcelain Sand. And it's got more coverage than both of the other two. The Tarte one does. And you can see it's got more pink in it as well than the other two. And so far I've really been enjoying that one for a more kind of full coverage, brighter under eye. So that one is the Power Flex Tarte C Concealer in Porcelain Sand. Right there. That's that guy. I think I have 5 concealers here to show you guys. I also got the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. So this has got 0.21 ounces of product, or 6.2 grams. And this one here is made in the USA. This concealer has been around for a while. And I purchased this concealer when it first launched. And I remember using it as an eyeshadow primer. And it kind of broke my lids out. So it kind of like freaked me out about the product in general. But I wanted to try it again because so many people love it, and not as an eyeshadow primer, but just as a concealer. And I think that the original shade that I bought was also just the wrong kind of tone for me as well, so I didn't care for it underneath the eyes. And they didn't have this shade when the product first launched. This is the Affogato Light 1.25 shade right here. And this is actually the concealer that I have underneath my eyes. I've not since used it as an eyeshadow primer, but I've worn it quite a few times underneath the eyes. And it's a pot concealer. It's a little bit thicker in terms of the consistency of it. So I do have to work just a little bit more to blend it out. It blends lovely, but it's just a little bit more because it's a thicker consistency. And I think that set with the Flower Nose loose powder that I love, it looks just beautiful underneath the eyes. And for me, it's a medium buildable. I think you could get it to full. I haven't tried to like build it up extremely, but when I first initially apply it, it's like a medium coverage for me. Again, this product's been around for a while, and no funny business so far for my skin underneath the eyes either. No weird bumps or anything. So it's posing to be promising. I hope that I don't get any strange reactions. And this has got a pinker undertone too in comparison to those other two. I hope that you guys can kind of see. But you can even see me blending it out, that it just matches my skin better. And I've really been enjoying it. So I'm glad that I went and I got this shade. Again, it's a newer shade in Affogato in the Soft Matte Complete Concealer. And I've got it on and I think it looks like super pretty. So that again is the Nars Soft Matte in 1.25 Affogato right there. And then I've got one more to show you guys. I decided to get another shade of the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Light Illuminating Smoothing Concealer. It's like this whole long name. 1.16 fluid ounces of product. And this guy's made in Italy. So this is the shade Sugar, which the original shade that I got is Oatmeal. And I really liked the formula, but I was always wishing for just a tad bit brighter after I set it with that Flower Nose powder. It just deepened just a little bit. And that's my favorite setting powder. So I thought, get a shade a little bit lighter and try that out. So I got Sugar, and I'll compare it to Oatmeal. This formula for me is really nice. It's a light buildable to medium. I think you could even build it up to kind of be a little bit more than medium, but it's so light and comfortable underneath the eyes. And I've been mixing these two together when I've used them and they look really nice. One thing I can say is you kind of have to dip back into the tube a bit because not a ton of product comes off on the little doe foot. But otherwise I really like this formula for a light kind of hydrating pretty concealer underneath the eyes. No shimmer or anything like that to it, but it is called like an Ethereal Light Illuminating Concealer. So this first one is the one I already had in Oatmeal right here. Again, this is what the packaging looks like. And then I'll swatch below that. Yeah, you can even see it's probably one of the darkest out of the bunch. And then here's the new shade that I got in Sugar. And both of these are pink undertones. And the two mixed together for me work out really, really nice. So that one is Sugar and that one is Oatmeal. And if I take and mix those two shades together, it kind of creates the shade that I was after. Look how well that blends into my skin. Like, it just blends in really, really well. But you can kind of see those concealers together. And then if I were to swatch the Benefit Boing Bright On Concealer in Lychee, just so we can see kind of a tone between those. I mean, you can really just see how much more yellow those other concealers are, but on a concealer kick, I must say. Dior also reformulated their, I think it's their Backstage concealer. That's been one of my favorite concealers since it came out, so I plan on getting probably 2 shades of that too, because I kind of have to do the mix thing with that concealer as well. So anyway, I love trying new concealers. Am I the only one? I don't know what it is. And then I saw Makeup by Cheryl here on YouTube review one of the Sephora Color Shifter palettes. These are new 5-pan palettes. And she gave it a pretty decent review and I was kind of eyeballing them, but watching her video made me want to buy them. So I got 2 of them to try them out. So they come... My little stickers are full of like cat hair, but they have these little cardboard pieces attached to the packaging. Each palette has got 4 shades. I don't know why they've separated one out when there's the same amount of product in each one. So there are 5 shades. Each one is 0.05 ounces, which is a pretty good amount of product that you're getting. And then these guys here are made in China. So the first one I'll start off with is the Khaki Illusion one. And it's all like a recyclable packaging type of thing. And there's a mirror in here that slides out of the little top right there. And then it's got the elastic on the bottom. And so this one is the green one, and there's a shade in here that kind of has got a little bit of a sponginess to it, and it was kind of like speckly, but it was the shiniest kind of shade out of the bunch. 3 mattes, these two and this guy, and then kind of a shimmer down here, kind of a satin shimmer really. And I love the look that I got out of this. The mattes blended and they worked really well. And the shimmer shade right here was pretty, but I noticed throughout the day that I got little flecks of it kind of fell out on my cheeks. It wasn't like massive, but they were there, and that was something that I did notice about that particular shade in both of these palettes. So I might just have to try either wetting them or using maybe a glitter glue or something like that to get it to adhere a little bit better, because my CoverGirl obviously didn't grip it as well as I was hoping that it would. And that's oh, some of that khaki kind of fell down. Let me get a little bit more of that shimmer shade. And that's the shade that I had gotten like some fallout on my face from kind of throughout the day. Again, it wasn't a ton, but it was definitely there. And then here's that satin kind of shade. So that one there is the Khaki Illusion. I guess they'd be quints, huh? And then the other one that I got is the Bronze Vision one. I just kind of liked the color story of this one. And what I liked about these 2 particular ones is they were both like standalone palettes for me. They had everything that I kind of want in a palette for a look on my eyes. So again, this is the packaging. And then give you some swatches. This one's got 3 mattes as well. This top guy and those 2, and then a same thing like a shimmer up in the corner, and then that kind of more flakier topper like speckled shade that's in there. Same formulation as the one that's in the khaki palette. And then this black right here. Gosh, the mattes in these palettes are so smooth. But the shimmer shades they're a little bit flaky. So that guy right there is the Bronze Vision right there. And they were pretty inexpensive. I think they were 10 or 15 bucks. So not too bad of a price. Again, the matte shadows in here are really nice, but it's those speckled shades that are a little flaky. And then I also got the other 2 eyeshadow palettes that I purchased from Viseart when they were doing their, I think it was 30% off sale. And I got the London Etoile and the San Francisco Etoile. And these are their petite palettes. So I believe each shadow in here is 1 gram. So it's the smallest pan size that they have, but still at 1 gram, you're getting a decent amount of product. So there's a total of, 8 grams, 8 shades, 1 gram per shadow. And then these guys here are made in the USA. So this is how they both come, and then you pull the palette out like that. The shade names are on the box, they're not on the actual packaging. So this first one is the San Francisco Etoile. I love the pretty little like detail on this packaging, and these are also magnetized inside, so you can pull them out and kind of mix and match with other shadows or put them in a big magnetic palette. This one is a standalone for me. Really pretty. You guys know how I feel about Viseart eyeshadows. I get along with them really well. Some of the best in the biz, you know? And this is just a really pretty color story. I think almost all my other petites with the 1 gram pans, I put them in a large magnetic palette, and then it's like fun when you can grab like one of these after you've taken the shadows out and then kind of customize them and stuff. Like how convenient for a little travel palette, you know? Very little fallout, and they blend just beautifully. So that one there is the San Francisco Etoile. And then here is the London Etoile right here. Again, it's got the little, what do they call that? Line art, I think is what they call that. And then here is your color story. This one here doesn't have a light enough shimmer for what I like on the inner portion. It does have a brow bone shade though. So when I use this, I have brought in a lighter shade for the inner portion of my eye because the shimmers in here are mid-tone or deeper. But again, I can easily pull a shade out of here and put in, you know, a different one, which again, something that I really enjoy about these kind of palettes. And again, this color story is really pretty. So that one right there is London Etoile. And you can see it compared to San Francisco Etoile right there. So more warm berry colors in that guy. I've got on the lipstick from Vive in Treasure, and it's a matte lipstick. It looks really pretty, but with all this talking, it keeps forming this line on the inner portion of my lips, which I'm not crazy about. And then I gotta like put a little more on so it doesn't look uneven. It's such a pretty color though for a matte formula, but not crazy about that. I also got the new Sugar Drizzle Trashed eyeshadow palette, which has got the cutest darn packaging. So it does come with a sleeve on there, and there's a raccoon, and it's called Trashed, like Trash Panda, which I just love because I really like raccoons. Now, neither on the sleeve or the actual palette does it list where this is made or how much product is in here, but I'm pretty certain that this is made in the PRC, and the pan size is roughly like a 0.05 ounce pan. They're kind of your standard round pan. But here is the packaging for the palette. It's a cardboard with a magnetic closure, and it does have a mirror in there. And this is that formula that comes out of the PRC that I absolutely love. It's got the most beautiful like shimmer and shine to it. This isn't a standalone for me for how I like to do my eyeshadow because everything is so shiny. I'm fine with like an all shimmer, but these are like really shiny. I mean, I could do it. I could make it work, but I prefer to incorporate a little bit of matte action into these really shimmery shadows. But the color story in here is just absolutely stunning. So you've got kind of two different formulas in here. Trashed, Masked Bandit, Rascal Tail, Raccoon Hoax, Wildlife, and Scavenger Hunting are like really smooth metallic shades. And then Nature Lover, Skedaddle, Junk Food Junkie, Dumpster Diving, and Party All Night, and then the Snack Time shade. Those are a little bit more of that like flakier textured type of shine. All of the shades are absolutely stunning. I've purchased several, if not all, of Sugar Drizzle's palettes like this, and wait till you guys see how beautiful these are. They're just stunning. And there's a raccoon on the packaging, or a trash panda. They're so shiny. And then this next roll, this shade right here is like a silver pewter with a bit of a purple to it. It's just really pretty, like unique kind of a shade. And then this bottom row here. Just beautiful. I really wish that these were magnetized inside of the palette, but they're not. They're fixed in there, but like just so you could build your own with some matte shadows as well. Like they're stunning. Just absolutely beautiful. So that guy right there is the Trashed palette from Sugar Drizzle right there. And that's actually everything that I got in that I purchased this week. I did get in 2 lovely PR packages from some of my favorite brands. This first one is from Beautylish and Sonia G. So she came out with Keyaki mini brushes. So we have the Keyaki buffer, which Keyaki is the wood that the handles are made out of. So this is what those look like. Similar to, I purchased her eye set. These are also the Keyaki wood that's on the bottom of these handles from her latest eye set that she came out with. So it's that type of wood. And then you've also got the Keyaki Niji Pro. So these brushes are shorter, so they're going to be really travel friendly, but the heads of the brushes are the same as the full size brushes, which I'll show you in a minute as well. But the buffer brush from Sonia G, very, very super soft. All of the quality for Sonia G brushes is some of the best. I've been a Sonia G fan from day one. I've got them all, I think with the exception of a couple that like sold out. They were like super limited edition, which I don't want to think about. It kind of breaks my heart that I don't have them all. You know, I'm that like completionist or whatever. Both of these brushes are really kind of multi-purpose, and they got, again, the shorter handle, so they're easy to travel with. But I'll show you the buffer brush from Sonia G in the full size, or the longer handled one, I should say, next to the Keyaki. So you can see that the heads are the same size, but the handles are different. So again, making them a little bit more travel friendly. And this brush here, back when I used to wear a ton of like, or I used to wear more so powder foundation, this was my favorite brush to use with that, because I wear like a really lot of sunscreen. So I had to kind of pounce on powder foundation initially and then buff it out, because if I went to swipe, it would gather too much because of the sunscreen that I had on. But I loved using it for that. Today I actually use this to apply bronzer, but it's got a great like surface area, and it's so soft, it just buffs product in really seamlessly. And then you can also use it for like a finishing powder, which is what I also did. I bronzed with it, and then at the end I mixed it in with the Guerlain Meteorites and really buffed those all over the skin. You could even use it for blush and highlighter as well. Like it fits in the cheek area, and then you could use the kind of the corner if you wanted to precisely put highlighter on. So you just wanted like all-in-one type of brush. This is a really pretty buffing brush. And then the Niji Pro, I'll show it next to the full-size version as well, so you can see that the heads are the same on them. They got the same shape, so these are pinched as opposed to circular all the way around, which the buffer brush is. And they have that kind of that half moon shape to them. And this one here is really good for like contour bronzing, but same thing, it's very multi-purpose because you can use the edges for highlighter, and then more so kind of the tip to apply blush. And then you could also, if again you wanted to like just use one brush, you can mix it into the Guerlain Meteorites and just use it to buff all over the skin. I feel that both of these brushes from Sonia G are very multi-purpose for face products. I think the only thing that I couldn't do with these brushes in terms of face powder is set my concealer, because it's a little bit too big for that area. Otherwise, if these were the only brushes that I had, I could do a full face of my powder makeup with, I think, either of these brushes. So again, very multi-purpose, and the quality and the beauty of Sonia G brushes is just, the standard is way up there. So again, this one is the Keyaki Buffer, and then this one right here is the Keyaki Niji right here. And they're just so pretty. I absolutely love the Keyaki handles. They just feel super nice, and that like luxe in the hands. And a huge thank you to Sonia G and Beautylish for sending those over. They're both in stock and available to purchase right now on the Beautylish website. And then lastly, one of my favorite Chinese indie brands, Florasis, sent me over this really beautiful set with a new eyeshadow palette and then also a lipstick. They came with this case. So you put both of the products inside. It's mimicking like a fan, and then it has like this opal kind of like detailing on it. It's just really, really pretty. And then inside, you've got an eyeshadow palette. Wait till you see up close how beautiful that is. And then also one of their lipsticks. So the lipstick is in the shade M1311, and this is their Floral Dewy Linked Lipstick. Again, their packaging is absolutely stunning. It's got a nice weight to it. It's just really pretty to look at. And then to get it out, there's like a key kind of situation, and then you push it and the lipstick pops out right here. And then the embossing on this is just so pretty. It's got like a whole story to tell on the bullet. And this color is kind of a mid-tone rusty red shade. And it's a really comfortable, like soft matte formulation. So that is the shade M1311 or M1311 right there. You just pop it back in right there. And then the palette is their Floral Engraving Beauty Goddess Makeup Palette is what they're calling it. There's a total of 0.5 ounces or 14.2 grams in here. So you're getting a ton of product, and that's across 9 shades. So this is also in the shape of a fan. And look at the like detail of the imagery on here. It is so, so pretty to look at. It's not textured, which at first I thought it would be because of how it like shined in the light, but still it has this really like multi-dimensional look to it with no texture. It's so, so pretty to look at. And then unlike the other one that flips open, which I'll show the two next to each other, this one, the top is magnetized and it comes all the way off like that, and then it sticks to the back of the palette. Oh, if I can get it the right direction. So you can just put it on the back like that. And then here are your shadows. So this is the palette that I've actually got on my face today. I've got it in the back of the cheek for a contour. And then I also have got the highlighter on the points that I highlight my face. And this is also what I have got on my eyes. And when I use, which is very hard, it's very hard to use their products because each pan has got the most intricate embossing on it. This one's got koi fish. I see a guy right there and a horse right there, some trees. I've kind of messed them up a little bit because again, this is what I've got on my eyes today. But the most intricate embossing out of any embossed makeup that I've ever seen, Florasis does it. So there are kind of 1, 2, I would say 3 kind of satin mattes, which are these two and then this shade. Everything else has got like a shimmer or a shine to it. And this formula is a baked gelée formula, which you guys know I absolutely love in terms of blush, bronzer, highlighter, eyeshadow. I love baked gelée products. And these picked up really nicely on a brush for me and they blended out beautifully. I don't want to ruin, there's a little horse right there and I don't want to ruin him. But for being baked gelée products, they're quite soft. Like you can just see even in these swatches. I was stingy with that shade because I didn't want to ruin the horse. Just how like smooth they are. And then these next ones. And then the highlight shade right here, which is beautiful. I need to get a little bit more of that blue, but it's like a MAC green brown kind of duochrome. But really easy to work with, really beautiful shadows. I love the way that the look turned out today. Whenever I use the Florasis shadow formula, because I've got a couple different iterations of their palettes, they always turn out like so sophisticatedly pretty. And that's kind of how I feel about today's look as well. And it was so easy to do the look because they blend so well. I just really like the looks that come out of their eyeshadow palettes. I love a baked gelée formulation as well. So this is just so pretty, you guys. Again, I've kind of, you know, ruined the embossing, but let me show you the cover again. So again, it just goes across the top and it magnetizes right on there. It's so, so pretty. I just like to look at it. One of those things I just like to look at. It is so, so pretty. So there are the two color stories. The one on the top's kind of got blushes in those larger pans, and the one on the bottom has a highlight and contour kind of shade. But you can see the color story differences. I've worn down the embossing on the one on the top quite a bit because I've worn it several times. But there you can see the two together. I recommend getting them both. And then it's so hard to like want to use them again because you're going to ruin the embossing. Get doubles. I feel about Florasis kind of like I feel about Flower Nose. Flower Nose is a little bit more fun in terms of their packaging, and Florasis is a little bit more like intricate and sophisticated. Both beautiful lines of products though. When they have new launches and new releases and stuff, I just get really excited about it because the quality of their packaging, their products to me is just so, so nice, you know. And I don't think Florasis is a little bit more expensive. Flower Nose isn't too bad, and the quality again of their products is really, really nice. I think it's important to note that the aesthetic of like especially their eyeshadow formulas and stuff is really like K-beauty, J-beauty type of lighter style of makeup. Like when we're so used to in your face, like super intense saturated shadows and stuff like that. These perform really well, but they're not that most saturated, most pigmented, like in your face type of shadows, but they're very pretty and easy to work with. So again, along the same lines of that lighter kind of J Beauty, K Beauty. But yeah, I think that the look on my eyes looks stunning, and I paired it with a cake liner from, I think, Glisten Cosmetics in a blue. Oh. And that's everything that I have from my haul today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I will see you guys later. Bye.